criminal defendants. And there's just one thing about all those people, and maybe when they have 60 to 100 lawyers show up in court, they're going to be greeted by Ron Paul volunteer lawyers, and they're going to meet their fate with the law at that point, and they're going to be looking at affidavits from well over 100 different people citing criminal acts of this criminal organization headed by a syndicate figure named Mitt Romney. This man is not the lesser of two evils. This man is evil. And when you see the evidence that we have, you will have no doubt that this man has no place in the Oval Office of the United States. And I am a Republican, and I say that because of the evidence is. And I will not tolerate it. He's going to have to come through me, and that's just what we're going to do.
Well, I think that you certainly you certainly have all the cards stacked in your favor, and I mean, geez, the evidence is overwhelming, and I have. We have Lynn Nichols here with us. She has been intently listening, and I think she's got her popcorn with her because this has just been. I can't blame you though, Lynn, because this is just all of this is so compelling. But there's another question from one of our listeners, and I don't know if you'd like to direct it to either David or Richard, but bring it out here for us.
Sure, I can do that. And just for Richard's sake and for our listeners' sake, I want to let you all know that I am Canadian, and I'm very heavily involved in this because I can see the corruption that's going on south of the border. And as I keep telling everybody, they ask me why I'm involved in American politics. What happens south of the border is very soon forced on Canadians, and then it sends out from there, and it hits every country in the world. So if we don't stop the corruption in the U.S., it's not going to stop anywhere else either. So I'm in this for the long haul. I'm in it with you guys. And so anyway, we've got Jerry in Oklahoma says, for those that have already been intimidated into voting against their conscience, is there any retribution possible?
Yes, there is. It's called a federal judge. And when the federal judge makes an order, and that order that we're asking for addresses all of these criminal acts that have occurred and all of the intimidation that has occurred, and we're asking the judge to make an order that no matter what a delegate may have had to sign under penalty of perjury or had to pledge under some state law or under some state bylaw, no matter what, that delegate ordered to disregard that and to vote their conscience on the first and all ballots, which is the law of the United States. And that delegate has that to do that. And we're asking the judge to order the Republican National Committee and all state parties to provide a hard copy of the judge's decision and place it right into the hand of the delegate, so the delegate has it right at the convention, and they have the protection of a federal judge who has U.S. Marshals. And if there are any off-duty police officers who want to rough up any delegates, they're going to find out that U.S. Marshals are a lot tougher than some cowardly off-duty security guards.
Oh, I love the Marshals. I wish we had them here.
Well, you know what, guys? I have to know, and I'm sure the people out there know. First of all, David, could you give everybody the site that they could go to if they want some more references on the suit, and if they'd like to join the cause, if they have a story to tell, can you provide the website for the people out there listening to the show?
Certainly. The primary site that we're providing people to learn about this is electionfraudremedy.com. That's the website that's been set up to particularly assist the delegates and the alternates that are posting their testimony in a secured location so that they can write freely and not be afraid that someone's going to take their information and shoot it all over the internet. But in addition to that, people need to write down the names of some websites that will be up in the next couple of days as we open up this new campaign. There's 3 different websites that will be available. The first one is called RonPaulGrassrootsRevolution.com. I'll say that again, RonPaulGrassrootsRevolution.com. The second one is WeAreAllRonPaul.com. And we think that Ron would really love that name for our website, because he would say that he's not the revolution, we are all the revolution. And that site again is WeAreAllRonPaul.com. And the third one is RealGrassrootsRevolution.com. And the point that you're getting from these 3 websites is that when we say we're taking over the Ron Paul campaign, it's really the people that are taking over the campaign. We're sick of this top-down politics, this top-down control, and we're saying we want our country back, and we want to take it back ourselves. And so, again, the one that's active at the moment is electionfraudremedy.com, but we'll have Ron Paul Grassroots Revolution, We Are All Ron Paul, and RealGrassrootsRevolution.com available in short order, and we're working on that right now.
Well, Jerry Davis checked in here in the chat, and Jerry, hello. He said, Lawyers Ron Paul, we have to unite to protect our freedoms, people, and I couldn't agree more. And the sites, as you said, are electionfraudremedy.com, RonPaulGrassrootsRevolution.com, and WeAreRonPaul.com. Those are the 3 sites that you can take a look at if you want to follow what's going on. But also, I mean, this is just this is been fast and furious. It's come on like gangbusters, and I have to ask because it's something that I'm sure a lot of the listeners want to know as well. I'm being selfish as the host. I want to know this, and I hope that some of the other people out there are curious as well. But what is the drop-dead date? I mean, outside of the obvious is it needs to be done before the convention. But what, in your mind, and Richard, I'll get this from you first, and I want you to chime in as well, David. But what is the date that you guys envision this lawsuit being coming to fruition? In other words, when do you feel a decision will be made and we will be able to move forward with the campaign as expected?
May I answer that? Richard Gilbert here. Federal judges are assigned in a random fashion to the case. The judge assigned to our case, Judge Carter, is a very, very strict judge. Judge Carter he's a former Marine. He takes the law very seriously, and he calls it fairly as it is. Judge Carter, I am convinced, is not going to leave delegates without the answer that the delegates need to have that is presented to the court. I think that there's going to be an answer. Now, I will tell you, any case can be won or lost, but Judge Carter will answer the question prior to the convention. He will make the dates to make sure that that happens. I have all the confidence in the world that that will happen. I am not concerned that we will not have a court order one way or the other prior to the convention.
Okay. Do you have an estimation, Richard, on when you expect roughly that you might find that court order in your hands?
Well, because the campaign didn't bring this case, and we had to do it privately on our own, the hour is late, the time is short, and the judge, a federal judge, will make all decisions about what happens on what date. So I cannot tell you what my opinion is of what dates the judge might set, except to say I have no doubt that it will be prior to the convention. Now, this is already mid-June. We're talking We're talking 60 days or less for an entire case involving hundreds of plaintiffs and defendants, and I guarantee you the federal judge will get it done.
I was just going to say, my answer to the question was going to be this. It's going to be before the first gavel of the convention for the Republican National Convention in Tampa in August. That we know for sure. We're very certain that that will be the case.
This is absolutely groundbreaking, guys. I mean, it really is. It is something that, it's funny how when you hear things about a movement, occasionally people will talk about it being historic, and there is a bit of arrogance that can be attached to that, depending on who you talk to or what they're referencing. But I don't think you can be too humble when it comes to this. I mean, this truly would be historic. We've never ever seen something like this happen. We've never seen. We were hoping that had Gingrich and Santorum stayed in the race longer, we would have had a brokered convention very easily. Although, without them bowing out, would we have seen this onslaught? The additional. I mean, there was already corruption, but would we have seen it as evidently as we've seen it with just Romney and Paul left in the race? And I don't know if that's an obvious yes or a no or a maybe, but whatever the answer to that question is, them jumping out of the race brings to light even more corruption than there was. And guys, I got to tell you, the corruption that happened in Maine absolutely blew my mind away. When Charlie Webster not only called the race at 84%, but there were people who were interviewed and who were chairs in their respective districts. And I want to say in Washington, Washington Township was one incident where zeros across the board came in as some of the tallies and things of that nature. So it's amazing to me the amount of corruption, the robocalls, the misleading calls from the GOP to the voters, on caucus days like in Nevada, telling people, not giving them explicit details about how they have to come in and caucus and have to vote at a certain time. These kind of things are so obvious and blatant, and it's astounding to me that it partially that it took so long for so many people to get together, but damn it, I'm proud to say that I am a part of this movement, and I am so glad that we have so many diligent people working hard to get this done. And I seriously thank you guys for being a part of all this. I mean, it's just amazing.
Can I say something here, Robbie, as we're finishing up, and then I'll turn it back to Richard?
Sure.
One of the things there's a number of us who obviously are part of this. Richard is leading in the court, but there's a lot of us behind the scenes, and I'm talking hundreds and thousands of people are starting to spring up in this. And one of the things that we just need to say here is, when you think about this campaign and what Ron Paul has attempted to do to get us moving in the right direction, we are all Ron Paul. And we're ready to restore our country and our freedom. And we are the real Ron Paul revolution, the Ron Paul grassroots liberty movement, and we can't be bought or sold because liberty is not for sale. And that is the theme of what's happening here. There are people in this country who've said, we want our country back. And we are willing to do whatever it takes to restore the liberty, constitutionality, the rule of law within our communities and within this country. And we are the revolution, and we thank Ron Paul for helping us to figure this out.
Richard?
And I would just like to say, regarding the comment about the brokered convention that people were hoping for, that was a brokered convention of bound delegates, but no one had 1,144 votes. Santorum, Gingrich, Ron Paul, and Romney dividing up bound delegates, but not reaching 1144. That was the hope. But now we have reached the mountaintop, because with this case, we're going to go far beyond that. Every single delegate in the building will be free to vote their conscience, no one bound to vote for anyone. And that was beyond our dreams when we were talking about a brokered convention 6 months ago.